Hello again, everyone. Welcome to our final video of Chapter 9, where we're wrapping up our unit on three-dimensional figures, where we've talked about naming those figures. We've found a lot of surface area and volume for all of these different types of three-dimensional shapes. To wrap it up this unit, we're going to be talking about pyramids, cones, and spheres, and how to calculate their volume. So we're going to start out with pyramids and cones. They share the same formula. And this formula for the volume of a pyramid or a cone is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. And so that formula should look very familiar from what we did last class period, where we found the volume of prisms and cylinders, and we used the area of the base times the height. But if we look at the picture on the right, it should make sense that we have this square-based pyramid, and if we would think of that with a height of 4, as if it were a box, as if it were a 7 by 7 in a box that went up 4 meters. That would be a square prism. And the volume of that square prism would take up a lot more space than this pyramid, because the pyramid comes to a point instead of coming up 4 meters at every corner. And it actually works out, so it's exactly 1/3 the amount of space. That's why the formula is the same as it is for a prism, and then you times it by 1/3. But remember your fraction rules. Multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. So you can just take the area of the base times the height and divide it by 3. All right, so for this example here, you look at your base. You have a square-based pyramid. And so in order to find the area of that square-based pyramid, we need to find simply base times height, 7 times 7. The area of the base is 49. Now the height of the object, the height of a pyramid, is this value here in the center that goes up to the highest point in the pyramid. The height of the pyramid is 4. So in order to find the volume, we're going to take the area of the base times the height, 49 times 4, and then we're going to divide that by 3, or take 1/3 of it. Either way, you'll get the same answer, which leads us to a solution for the volume of this pyramid to be 65.3 units. And again, we're talking about volume, so when we label this 65.3, we're going to label it in meters cubed. That's meters to the 3rd power. So our final answer is 65 meters cubed. All right, that's your volume of a pyramid. Fairly straightforward. If you understood what we did last lesson, this is pretty quick. It's just finding the area of the base times the height, just like you did before. But now we're dividing by 3. A cone example is exactly the same. But because the base is a circle, we have to do pi times the radius squared. Pi times 4 squared will find us the area of the base, because a circle is radius squared times pi, and we get 50.3. for the area of the base. The height of the triangle, or I'm sorry, the height of the cone is always going to be that distance, again, from the center of the base to the highest point, or in this case, the lowest point. That is 11 units. So the volume is found by taking the area of the base times the height and then dividing by 3. So if we do that in the calculator, we take that 50.3, times it by 11, and divide by 3. The volume is 184.3 cubic feet. So much like the things we've been doing with volume on the other shapes, it's very formulaic. Find the area of the base, times it by the height, but now we're dividing that by 3. All right, now we're going to move on to spheres, and spheres are a little bit different. The volume of a sphere is found by utilizing the formula 4/3 times pi r cubed. And this formula is another one where we can simply plug into. Some of you will struggle with the fraction component of this, so I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. In order to calculate the volume of this shape, we're going to do 4/3 times pi times r to the third, which is going to be, in this case, our r value is 6, because the diameter is 6. So here's how I would recommend typing this into your calculator. 4 times pi times 6 to the third power. And divide that all by 3, because the 4/3 is still intact here. But the easiest way to make sure we don't make mistakes in our calculator is, let's not get to the decimal until the end. So we can just type right into our calculator, 4 times pi times 6 to the third power. And we can take that answer and divide that answer by 3, and we get 904.8 cubic feet. So that's the volume of this sphere. Finding volume of a sphere is simply formulaic. You plug in the parts, use your calculator, and calculate it out. The 4/3 can be a little bit tricky, but if you simply multiply your r to the third times pi times 4, you can then take the entire answer divided by 3, and that's going to make things as easy as possible for you. All right, we are at the end of the unit. So we're going to be looking at a review session the next time we're together. The next time we have this meeting, we're going to try to do a Zoom meeting. So you'll see posted on your Schoology page a link for you to join a Zoom review before we take the test. So our next section is going to be review day. We're going to try to do that in person through Zoom, and from there you will have your test. Best of luck to you, and we will see you in a couple of days.